The first time anyone noticed him was during the Ashbury apartments fire in 1996. It was a cold November night. Wind was pushing smoke across the street. Firefighters were shouting names. Families were wrapped in blankets. Children were crying on the sidewalk. Everyone from the building had made it out. At least, that's what the captain believed. Then one firefighter looked up at the fire escape. Someone was coming down. A man. Slow and calm. Covered in soot. His coat looked burned at the sleeves. His head was lowered. He never looked at the flames. He never looked at the crowd. He just stepped down the metal stairs, one step at a time. Nobody recognized him. Nobody remembered helping him. By the time firefighters reached the bottom of the fire escape, he was gone. At first, everyone assumed he had disappeared into the crowd. That happens during fires. People panic, people run, people don't always stay to give statements. So nobody made much of it. Until it happened again. 3 years later. Different building, same city, same kind of fire. A kitchen fire spread into the walls of an apartment complex on Bridge Street. Everyone evacuated. Firefighters counted the residents twice. No one was missing. Then someone shouted, "There's still a man on the fire escape!" The captain turned, and there he was. Same burned coat, same lowered head, same slow walk. Down the stairs, through the smoke, past the windows glowing orange behind him. Again, no one spoke to him. Again, no one recognized him. Again, by the time anyone reached the bottom, he was gone. That was when people started talking. Not publicly, not in newspapers, only inside the fire department. Older firefighters remember seeing him before. Some swore he had appeared at fires in the 1980s. One retired captain claimed he saw the same man in 1974. Same burned coat, same slow walk, same silence. Always coming down the fire escape. Never going up. Never helping anyone. Never asking for help. Just descending. Like he had been doing it forever. For years the department called him the fire escape man. Half joke, half superstition. Then the body cameras became common, and the jokes stopped. In 2018, a small apartment fire broke out in a building on Mercer Avenue. It was contained quickly. No one died, no one was badly hurt. But afterwards, while reviewing footage, one firefighter noticed something strange. In the body cam, a woman came down from the fire escape carrying her little boy. Behind her, one step above, was the burned man. He wasn't touching them. He wasn't guiding them. He wasn't even looking at them. But he was there, exactly one step behind the child. The firefighter checked other footage. Same thing. Different fires, different years. Whenever children escaped down a fire escape, the burned man was there. Always behind the last child. Never ahead. Never beside them. Always one step back. As if making sure nobody followed. The department began digging. Old footage, old photographs, newspaper archives, witness reports. The burned man appeared again and again. Blurry, half hidden by smoke, standing on metal stairs. Watching from a landing. Descending behind a child. And then they found the story of Elias Moore. Elias had been a rookie firefighter in 1986. 23 years old. Quiet, kind. The sort of man everyone liked immediately. He had grown up in the city not far from the old river district. When he was 6 years old, his apartment building caught fire. His mother carried his baby sister out. His father was at work. Elias got separated in the smoke. For nearly 10 minutes, no one knew where he was. Then he appeared on the fire escape, alone, coughing, shaking, but alive. Later, he told people someone had helped him, a man in a burned coat. His family thought it was a firefighter, but no firefighter remembered finding him. Elias never forgot it. He became a firefighter because of that night. He told one friend he didn't want to be brave. He just wanted to become the kind of person who would go back for someone. And in 1986, he did. The fire happened at the Alder House Apartments, top floor, middle of the night, smoke everywhere. Families were trapped in a stairwell. Elias entered with his crew. On the 5th floor, he found a little girl named Rose hiding in a closet. She was 7, too scared to move. He carried her to the fire escape. Witnesses saw him step onto the stairs with her in his arms. Then part of the structure gave way. Metal twisted. Bolts snapped. The fire escape collapsed below them. Elias had seconds. According to witnesses, he pushed Rose upward toward another firefighter, and she survived. Elias fell with the stairs. For years, firefighters believed Elias Moore was the burned man. The story made sense. A child saved him. Then he died saving a child. Maybe he never left. Maybe he kept coming back to make sure other children made it down. The idea was tragic, but comforting. Until an archivist found an old photograph. It was from 1974, 12 years before Elias died, 6 years before he joined the department. And in the photograph, standing on the fire escape behind a group of children, was the burned man. Same coat, same posture, same lowered head. The room was silent, because that meant the burned man was not Elias Moore. He had been before Elias. He had been there when Elias was a boy. Whoever he was, whatever he was, he had saved Elias first. After that, the department stopped trying to name him. Some things become worse when you realize they don't have an explanation. But then came the Carlton Towers fire. That was the first fire nobody wanted to talk about. It happened on a rainy night in April. The building was old. The alarms failed on 2 floors. Smoke filled the stairwells before most people knew anything was wrong. Firefighters pulled out 26 residents, then 31, then 38. Children came down ladders. Parents climbed through windows. Smoke rolled all over. The street was like black water. And through it all, the burned man appeared. Body cameras caught him on the rear fire escape, one step behind the last child, just like always. A little boy came down crying. A firefighter grabbed him from the final landing. The burned man reached the bottom and stopped. And for the first time in any recording, he turned around. He looked back up at the building. Every firefighter who saw the footage later said the same thing. That was when they knew. Someone was still inside. The burned man stepped back onto the stairs. Not down, not up. He walked back into the smoke. Slowly, deliberately. Like he had been waiting for someone to notice. The captain ordered another search. They found a woman unconscious in apartment 6B. Then an elderly man in the bathroom. Then a teenage girl behind a collapsed door. All alive. Barely, but alive. The burned man did not come back down. For weeks after the Carlton fires, firefighters argued about what they had seen. Some called it a miracle. Some refused to talk about it. One young firefighter quit the department completely. He said he could still hear the stairs creaking in his dreams. Then, 6 months later, another fire broke out. Smaller building, 3 floors. Nothing unusual. Everyone evacuated quickly. The captain counted the residents. No one was missing. No injuries, no confusion. Then a firefighter whispered, "Where is he?" The captain looked at the fire escape. Empty. No burned man, no figure in the smoke, no slow footsteps. For the first time in decades, he had not appeared. That should have been comforting. Instead, every firefighter there felt the same thing. Something was wrong. The captain ordered one more search. Everyone argued. The building had already been completely cleared. The fire was under control. There was no reason to go back in. But the captain looked at the empty fire escape and said, "Search it again." On the second floor, behind a bedroom door, they found a little girl under a bed. She hadn't made a sound. She had been too scared to call out. If they had left, she would have died. The captain carried her out himself. When he reached the street, the rain had stopped. Smoke drifted upward. The crowd was silent. Then the little girl pointed at the building. The captain turned, and at the top of the fire escape stood the burned man. For the first time anyone could remember, his head was raised. He wasn't looking at the children. He wasn't looking at the flames. He was looking at the firefighters. Then he nodded once, slowly, and disappeared into the smoke. Years passed. Firefighters retired. New ones came in. Most dismissed the story at first. Every department has legends. Every old firefighter has something strange they claim they have seen. But then a fire would happen, and the burned man would appear. One step behind the last child. Always silent, always watching, never asking for thanks. There was still no official record of him. No name, no file, no grave, no missing person report. But in the old downtown fire station, there is a wall of photographs. Firefighters, captains, old crews, lost friends. Among them is a faded picture of Elias Moore, the rookie who died saving Rose. Beside it is another photograph much older. A group of children standing outside a burned apartment building in 1974. Most people never notice the figure on the fire escape behind them, but firefighters do. They always do. Because once you see him, you start looking for him in every fire. Last year, Elias Moore's grandmother graduated from the fire academy. She had grown up hearing stories about her grandfather, the brave firefighter, the little girl, the collapsed stairs, the burned man. She never knew what to believe. After the ceremony, she visited the old downtown station. She stood in front of her grandfather's photograph for a long time. Then she smiled, turned to leave, and stopped. In the glass frame, behind her reflection, stood a man in a burned coat. His face was impossible to see. His hands were blackened with soot. His head was lowered. She turned around quickly. The hallway was empty. But on the floor behind her, there was a single wet footprint, like someone had just stood there, out of the smoke. That night, across the city, an apartment fire started on the 17th floor of a building near the river. The first engine arrived in 4 minutes. Families were already climbing down the fire escape. Children first, parents behind them, smoke above, sirens below. The new firefighter looked up, and there he was, one step behind the last child, slow, silent, and watching. She radioed her captain. Her voice shook, but she stayed calm. "Captain." There was a pause. Then she said, "We're not done yet." The captain looked toward the fire escape. The burned man had stopped on the final landing. His head slowly turned, back toward the building, and every firefighter on that street understood. Someone was still inside.